Hello, website visitors and Facebook followers. We just had someone ask us a question about their 2023 taxes, and they didn't earn enough to qualify for covered California subsidies. They would get Medi Cal. So it might jump around a little because it takes like 6 web pages to answer the question fully in detail and give you all the citations, because I'm sure there's a lot of agents out there that'll argue with me and say I'm wrong. But I've got the citations, I've got uh, answers from Covered California, and we're now into 10 years of Obamacare. So it's not as a lot of the stuff has been settled. There's been 5 or more, Supreme Court decisions. So we'll go over the question of what happens. It's now October 2024. We're looking at 2025 renewals. And these people have just done their 2023 taxes. So a lot of the stuff will be the same regardless of what year you're talking about. So first of all, if you don't want to have Medi-Cal, if you've got the money, you can buy private insurance and not be with Medi-Cal. A lot of people don't like Medi-Cal. The doctor list isn't as good. They have a feeling that coverage isn't as good. You're arguing with the government. Well, it's really confusing because the government has turned around and turned Medi-Cal over to private insurance companies, and some of them may be the same you were with anyway. So the links to all of these web pages, will be in the comments below. So, here's documentation that if you don't want Medi-Cal, you can buy private insurance. And that's on our page about Medi-Cal and having other coverage, who pays first. So a lot of people that have a negative income, they're rich, they're wealthy, they just have a monstrous tax loss for some reason. In this case, they've got business deductions. I haven't seen their tax return. I'm not a CPA. But if you've got a negative income, you qualify for Medi-Cal, regardless of that. You may really be a billionaire, but that's just the way it works. And this is on our page about, long-term capital gains, because that's where a lot of people get their, negative income from. Also, I didn't show it here, but let me pause. Let me pause for a section. So, here's a Schedule C, profit or loss. And if you have a profit or loss in your business with all your expenses or whatever, then you're probably going to have a negative income unless you have other income. Look at your 1040, check with your CPA. Okay, Covered California, here's what they consider your countable sources of income. And it's not what Covered California says, it's what the IRS says, because I'll show you in a second there's an IRS form to fill out. So I don't care what Covered California tells you. It's what your CPA says, because he's the one filing the 8962 that you'll see in a second. So here's what documents they'll prove. So 2023, they may have had a negative income. I don't know what 2024 is, but what really counts for now is what are they going to have on 2025? So they can show business records, profit and loss, Quicken software. And here I say last year's income is meaningless. It's what's going to be in the future. So also, when your income is going down, you've got to report it. You're mandated to report it. And, a lot of my pages all have the same information on each page, because I've noted that people don't really seem to click on links. And there was something that I was reminded of. If it comes, I'll mention it. So here's the form you fill out at the end of the year, and they're talking about the year that you're filing your taxes. So when they fill out their form for 2024, it's going to matter then as to whether they have to pay back subsidies. And, that could be a lot, but somewhere there's a maximum on how much you pay subsidies, as long as you were honest when you filled out the forms to have Covered California approve your subsidies. So all these web pages will be in the comments. Here's the Covered California income chart that's based on the federal poverty level. So they were a family of five, so they need to be making, at least say 51,000 to be out of Medi Cal. But Medi Cal for kids, goes up to 100,000. So the parents may be on Covered California, but they got Medi Cal for kids, and in other areas you've got, goes even higher. So it's kind of like, send us your specific information, your estimated income, and we'll see what happens. This is the definition of MAGI income. It basically goes by adjusted gross income and not your taxable income. It's adjusted gross income. Once we have that, then we'll see if you get Social Security, you have any foreign income, or any tax-exempt interest. And I do have a lot of people with Social Security, but I don't think I've seen anyone with tax-exempt interest or foreign income. And then here, I don't get this complaint as often, but here's how to estimate your income. I'm not a CPA. I don't have a crystal ball, so that's really up to you. And of course, if you have a wrong estimate, you can always just change it, and you're mandated to change it within 30 days once you have a change. And here's our page, with details on how to report income. Here's what Covered California's brochure is. Here's my other video on that page. Here's their video, and so forth. So if you have any questions, at the very bottom of every page, you can ask us a question and we'll get back to you. Thanks a lot.